Hey there! Welcome to the self-study unit concerning project management. Before we get started, here is a short overview of what you can expect in the upcoming 10 minutes. First, we will talk about what defines a project and what this means for your work style. As we will see, this includes defining the goal of your project, managing the tasks and milestones that drive it forward, and planning your time schedule. Once we get these basics down, you will learn about 3 best practices to help you along the way. Ultimately, we will map out how a project plan may look like so you can go ahead and create your own. What is a project? The most simple definition is this. A project is something to get done that has a clearly defined goal or result within a clearly defined time frame. There are tasks that need to be done in order to achieve the goal. So, a project has a clear goal or result, tasks that get you there, a clear starting point, and a clear ending. The project management mindset. Keeping this definition in mind, many things can be considered a project. It's about defining them accordingly. Your upcoming term paper, the next vacation, and even your studies as a whole. You can look at each of these events through the lens of project management. Planning a project consists of the following questions. What is my goal for the project? What tasks need to be done to achieve my goal? When do I need to start doing these things to keep the deadline? You can apply this systematic approach to structure anything you want to be a project. Defining your goal. Every project has a goal. Ask yourself, what is the result at the end of your efforts? For this, it is vital to phrase your goal effectively. It is helpful to spell out the is state you aim at. For example,
term paper written and sent in time, instead of write term paper and send it in time.
There is another concept that can help you to phrase what you aim at. SMART goals are goals you are more likely to accomplish. The concept's name is derived from the 5 characteristics the ideal goal boasts. Specific. Spell out your goal as clearly as possible. What exactly do you want to achieve? Measurable. Make sure you can track your progress. How can you tell you completed the goal? Attainable. Your goal should be within your reach. Set goals that you can realistically achieve. Relevant. Make sure your goal actually contributes to the context of your work. How is it relevant to what you do? Time-based. Set yourself a deadline. This helps you to stay on track. Managing tasks and milestones. Once you have a clear goal in mind, think about what you have to do to make it happen. The steps towards your goal can be formulated as tasks. This may sound complicated at first, so we prepared an accessible example for you. If making a cup of coffee was a project, what steps would you have to take? The graphic you are looking at gives you the general idea of what you need to do. Now, think of your own project. What tasks need to be done? What information and materials do you need? How do you acquire them? What has to be done before you can start certain other tasks? Who do you need to contact for permissions? Who needs to be kept up to date? These are some of the core questions when defining the steps towards the completion of your project. Ideally, you come up with a comprehensive to-do list. To turn these bullet points into a roadmap, we advise you to define milestones for your project. Given you want to discuss a topic dear to you at a congress, your milestones might look a little like this. Your first milestone is having figured out at what congress to speak. The next one is knowing how to become a speaker at that congress. Now, set one milestone for having collected data and another one for having analyzed the data. The next milestone concerns interpreting your findings. Then you set a milestone for having prepared a speech about all you found out. The penultimate milestone is having practiced your speech before, lastly, having given your speech at the congress of your choice. If you are working on a project as a group, now would be a good time to appoint tasks. Things are so much more likely to be done when specific people feel responsible for them. To decide who does what, it helps to consider the resources each of you have. This could be certain skills that make tasks easier, or simply basic things like time and energy. Defining tasks and setting milestones helps you to get a proper idea of what you need to do. Thinking in tiny steps can really help making a daunting project look very manageable. Planning the time schedule. Knowing your goal and the tasks that get you there, only one thing is left to manage. Coming up with a reasonable time schedule is important for things to run smoothly and to reduce stress. Much like tasks, your time until the deadline can be cut up into smaller sections. Conveniently, you can assign how long each task is presumably going to take to complete. If you do this for each step, you end up with a rough schedule in no time. Now here is the real trick. To figure out when you need to start, all you need to do is take a look at your deadline and count backwards from it. Say, your speech is due on October 31st. Practicing a speech usually takes you 2 days, so practicing starts at October 29th. You typically take 3 days for the writing process, so you should start writing on October 26th. In the past, you often took 1 week to analyze your data and another 4 days to interpret it. So, you should start working with your data on October 15th. Collecting the data will probably take you around 2 weeks, starting October 2nd. Choosing a congress and figuring out how to speak there should take you 1 day, so you start looking for that information on October 1st. Now, your time schedule isn't quite done yet. Life happens. We all have been there. A good schedule accounts for that. Add a buffer for 1/3 of the time all tasks take up combined. For your 31 days of writing the article, you'll want to plan a buffer of 10 days. You start working on the project on September 22nd to hand it in on October 31st. For this sort of scheduling to work out, you need to know your workflow. Are you a quick writer, but reading texts and interpreting data takes you ages? Or is it just the other way around? Think of your past projects. Applying the project management mindset, reflect on how you bring about the best results. Best practices. Adapting to change. The best plan can be subject to change. Unexpected obstacles arise in any project and can be quite challenging. To navigate them, You need to focus on your vision for the project. Remember your goals and values. What is most important to the result of the project? It can be necessary to make compromises. Decide beforehand what parts of your plan are firmly set and what can be negotiated. Staying on track. Either way it goes, your project will move forward. Some tasks can be tedious and feel like dragging on for a long time. To keep up your focus and motivation, track your progress for each individual day. Looking at what you already got done will give you a boost when you need it. Plus, it is a good way of making sure your plan works out and you keep the timing of your milestones and, ultimately, your project's deadline. Efficiency. The more you work, the better the outcome, right? Well, yes and no. In order to achieve your goal, you need to keep a steady workflow. This being said, it is important to know when to move on to the next task. According to the Pareto principle, 20% of our efforts generally produce 80% of the final result. For tweaking the last 20% outcome to perfection, it takes 80% more of your time and energy. In virtually all cases, this is not worth it. There will always be the next little detail that could be improved. Especially for bigger projects, it is vital to understand when to move on to the next step. If you stick with one task for too long, you pour a lot of effort into the project without it significantly moving forward. Keep in mind, excellent does not mean perfect. Your project plan. Project management is a way of structuring your efforts to fulfill your goal within a certain time frame. A project plan consists of all aspects of project management. Your project plan states your project's goal. It also states the deadline of your project, the tasks that need to get done alongside your project's milestones, and the corresponding time schedule. On the right, you can see a rough sketch of how a project plan may look like. Now, it's up to you. Take a look at your own project and apply the lessons of the self-study unit. Create your very own project plan, including your goal, your deadline, tasks, milestones, and time schedule. Have fun and thanks for listening.